Bienvenidos otra vez, ladies and gentlemen. Soy Francisco Frank Garcia el Segundo, the Black Latin Prince, right here at the Curtis Museum in Detroit, Michigan. This museum was dedicated and erected to Dr. Austin Curtis, who was the late George Washington Carver's research assistant. Dr. Carver set up Curtis Labs in the 40s and supplied the late Mrs. Carmen Murphy with all her hair care products to help her create the House of Beauty. And we're here. This is the Curtis Museum, and right next door to us is the House of Beauty, which is owned and operated by Mr. and Mrs. Douglas and Christine Crawford, who we thank so much for allowing us to be here. On this particular segment, we're going to talk to two of the greatest keyboardists to come out of the city within recent memory, who have worked with the greats, Joe Hunter, Johnny Griffith, the list goes on and on, Popcorn Wiley. And these guys have recorded for many labels in the business, and right now we're doing the project with the Detroit Historic Musicians Association. We're preparing for this world tour, and Alex, this is for you, and we want to give you a little bit of information to the public about two of these guys and what they're doing with the group and how they're helping to develop the sound. So welcome with me, if you will, the great Thomas Postell and the legendary McKinley Jackson. Welcome, fellas.
All right.
Welcome, welcome.
Now, you guys, McKinley, I know you used to play trombone way back when.
Right.
And how did you go from trombone to keyboard? And I can't, when you say keyboard, actually, that can be misleading because a lot of people go out and they buy these electronic keyboards. They spend like $1,000, and they hit a switch. And it plays and then they hit another switch and then they hire themselves out for hire. I mean, it kind of reminds me of when the circus comes to town. But we know that it's a prefabrication because everybody that buys an electronic keyboard is not a keyboardist. But these guys are actually bona fide musicians that have come up through the ranks. That have used their blood, their sweat, their tears, and their experience to help create this product that is the legendary Detroit Historic Musicians Association. So tell us how you got to the keyboards.
Well, I tell you, the back door.
All right. That's one way to get in.
Because, like I said, I'm actually a trombonist, and in school I played all the instruments except violin. Even saxophone, trumpet, and the rest of them, enough to demonstrate to the other kids. Mm-hmm. As a matter of fact, there were a couple of things that actually in our group, Thomas is the principal keyboard player. Mm-hmm. I arrange and produce, so I play piano to support that. And, by knowing music and the chords and stuff, I do what I do on the keyboards. But I was listening to Thomas earlier, and there are quite a few things that he mentioned that we may not have done together, but the same situations, like you mentioned, what did you say, Wonder Bread? Or my group, in my group in high school, we won the Tasty Bread contest.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
And we played with Nina Simone at, I think, the Masonic Temple, and then you mentioned that, then you mentioned Rudy Robertson was your mentor, and I started out with Rudy. But actually, I was playing sessions around town and gigs with Lee Rogers, like you mentioned, and the Village, saw the Peps get together. We were all part of the same thing. Mm-hmm. And then I went to the Politicians and with Lil Charlie. Mm-hmm. And the Peps needed a band to go up to Buffalo, and so we got the band together. So eventually, some kind of way, I started. Well, I was writing the music. That's what it was. And but the
now explain to people when you say writing the music. Mm-hmm. Exactly what that means with manuscript and a pencil.
Yeah. Well, with that group, actually, to tell you the truth, we were all qualified. The other guys could write. Melvin and Stanley could write. Mm-hmm. And so I don't know how much was reduced to paper for our group. Mm-hmm. But as far as being hired out as a ranger,
right.
Then I write.
But
I like to use the word orchestrate now, because sometimes a lot of people will say they want to have 3 trumpets and a trombone, and they consider that arranging. Well, that's like saying you put the chairs here and you're an architect. You know, I mean, it's not the same thing. So, but a lot of people will say that. So, I more or less would say, actually, well, you know, I guess it's okay, whatever people do. But another thing Thomas mentioned too, you're talking about Carmen Murphy. Well, her first label was called Hobbs.
Right, H-O-B.
Which was House of Beauty.
Right.
Yeah, you mentioned that too. And you mentioned Rudy. And so then I started recording with trombone was my instrument, like I said. My first recording was probably about 63, Ooh Baby Baby with Motown. Mm-hmm. It was 3 trombones in there. I think Paul Reiser did. It was just goose eggs, whole notes. But Paul Reiser did the arrangement.
It was a start.
Yeah, that's the start. So my first session, Norman Whitfield was directing the floor. Paul was writing music and running upstairs and writing more music. So, and then the last thing I did of any significance, I think, as far as writing, was the Marvin Gaye, the Sexual Healing album. I did all arrangement on there other than the rhythm. The rhythm was cut overseas, but the strings and horns, I did all of that. So.
The rhythm was cut overseas?
Yeah, Marvin cut that overseas. As a matter of fact, Harvey Fuqua found me in L.A. and came and asked me some kind of way, they looked me up and asked me did I want to do it. And I told him, yeah, as a matter of fact, and after I wrote it, did the arrangements here, I guess they had about 7, 8 horns and strings. But Marvin called me from Europe and said, where did you get all those ideas? And for once I was stumped. I couldn't think. Then I say, where did I get them? I thought about it. And actually what it is, I got them from him, I told him. Because actually Marvin was so, well, it's another story, but he was so creative that if he had 10 tracks, he would play 10 different things, you know, going one way, and all would be valid. Mm-hmm. So I'd basically listen to the track and combine what I could feel that he was feeling at a certain point, and maybe organized it and took it a step further, or made a collection of it, you know, and jammed together. So, yeah, so recording is what I've been doing for a long time now. Mm-hmm. Like, and when we were all together, I was playing, that was the gigs around the city. Matter of fact, we were the house band at the 20 Grand, I heard you mention that. We were the house band. Mm-hmm. And you asked about Frantic Ernie. But Frantic Ernie and Jimmy and Udi Cool.
Oh, yeah.
At the 20 Grand. And then later, Levi Mann was the house band at the Driftwood. I eventually, we started with Ziggy Johnson. We started over there in the Driftwood, too. And then we opened up the Mozambique. That was a club around. And Henry's. Yeah, we were like the first groups to go in both of those places, you know. So that's it, you know, just a lot of music, a lot of living, a lot of life.
Let me ask you a question. You know, it seems like we're always finding you. You know what I'm saying? It's like no matter where you go or what you do, we always manage to find you.
McKinley.
You are the most well-hidden insight guy that I think I've ever known.
Wait till you see this next one. No. Well, I'm going to tell you something. How did they say it? They said it's good to be seen, it's good to be found. Mm-hmm. So, you know, I'm glad to be back for like with it's a part of you missed, and it's the roots, you know, like Kingfish. I guess you're going to talk to Kingfish later, you know. I was stepping in and playing with Kingfish when I was 14 and 15, 16. Mm-hmm. I think Kingfish about 60 or something then, but no. Maybe I might be mistaken. About that. He might only been 55, but I mean. No, so but I know I'm gonna pay for that. But enough for me. Yeah. And like Thomas, you know, like I think I mentioned Rudy Rowers was a big influence.
Very big.
Yeah,
very
back
big.
here. Yeah.
Very big.
Yeah. So
taught me everything I know.
Yeah, and that's a lot.
And I can remember when this guy was. When he was working with Rudy at the Redwood, I could see him sometimes sit down at the side of a jukebox, drop a nickel in that joker, and before it's finished playing, he done roll.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen him do that many times.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm.
So this guy's got always has some excellent ears.
And hopefully it was right.
Hey, you got no complaints. Nobody
you never got any complaints, so it must have been right.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
Now, after the Minstrels broke up, and you all left D-Town, what did you do then?
Well, I just bumped around the city, you know, just hitting and missing, playing here and there with different people. And I'm trying to remember who else did I.
D. Edwards, the Peps. You did a lot.
Yeah, I did a lot of stuff with the Peps.
Yeah, D.
But
Edwards.
I'm trying to think. Okay, after. Well, this was some years after that, though. I had got with a group with Shandu and Chuck Boyd and Derek Tyson and two other guitar players. I can't recall the names right now, but we had formed a group and we became Bear Strong's recording band. Okay, and I can't remember how long we did this. 3-4 years, I guess.
Did Bear have a studio built in?
No. We did all of our rehearsing in his basement, and we did the recordings at Studio B. I think that's what. Yeah, on Davidson. Yeah.
Was originally Golden World Studio.
Yeah.
And they bought it and changed the name. Motown bought it and changed the Studio B.
Yeah. But after that, hey.
Now, what about the stuff that you cut with Mike Hanks? Like the stuff you cut on the Magic Tone? I think one of your most prolific works was Together We Shall Overcome.
Yeah.
And I say that because that was a reflection of what was going on with the civil rights movement
right at the time.
And I think Doc actually came up with that.
He did. Yeah, he did. He did come up with the idea, and I think he might have written some of the lyrics on it.
Yeah, it's Calvin Doc Stevenson.
Yeah.
There's one, a great writer, a great artist.
Yeah.
And he was the originator of the Magic Tones. I know we had him on some years ago, and he told us the whole story of how the group formed.
Mm-hmm.
And you were so instrumental. He named you as being very instrumental in that situation too. Mm-hmm. And what really surprised me about you is that when we all got back together, you said that you didn't know that not only did people remember you, but thought of you in a sense of legendary status, when all you ever tried to be was the common man.
We're still trying.
You'll get there one day.
Trying to stay on the down low, my brother.
What's some of the favorite music that you actually recorded?
Now, see, like I said, that part of my brain is gone. You're talking about over 30, 40 years ago.
But you did a lot of records at D-Town.
Yeah, I know.
Did you ever do any work with the Precisions when they were at D-Town?
No. I primarily worked with Cody Black. Okay, and I may have got a chance to work with Lee Rogers once or twice, and I can't remember, somebody else was over.
Do you ever remember a female
voice?
Okay.
Who?
Silky Hargraves.
Oh, yes.
Do you remember a female artist by the name of Lillian Dupree?
Yeah, the Dupree sisters.
And
Rose Batiste.
Yeah.
Rose Batiste.
Rose was at D-Town too?
No, she was at
Thelma.
Yeah, she was at Thelma.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
In fact, Dupree is married to Clay McMurray, right?
I think you're right.
Yeah.
I think you're right. What do you guys see as being the definitive sound for the DHMA, which is the Detroit Historic Musicians Association?
Well, if at all possible, if we could somehow, I can't say, I can say duplicate the sound. Yeah, not imitate it, but duplicate it, since we did come up around that time.
And we helped create a lot of that stuff. So it wouldn't be, we'd be imitating ourselves.
Yeah, we'd be imitating ourselves, but that would be probably one of the things I'd like to see done.
And what about you, Matt?
Oh, I think probably big, because we got the personnel to do it with the 3 horns, 2 keyboards, 2 guitars, bass drums, and hello percussionists.
Oh yeah.
Shandu, but I think probably once we solidify everything, which we've in the process, and we've come a long way, and we, I think a big sound would be the fourth. And the diversity of the personnel gives us the benefit of doing a wide range of music.
Sees us at Stitches all the time.
Right.
Exactly. But laughter is medicine of the gods.
That's right.
Well, fellas, it's been great speaking with you. Mr. Thomas Postell,
yes, sir.
Keyboard extraordinaire. Mr. McKinley Jackson,
yes,
keyboard
sir.
Extraordinaire.
Yes, sir.
And you've been right here with yours truly, Francisco Garcia, and the Detroit Historic Musicians Association. Stay with us. We'll be right back We've got a lot more to come. Peace.
All right.